So my name is Anna and I'm from Germany, but my parents are from Poland. And I'm 17 year old. Like I turned 17 in January here in Beijing, and I go to the Beijing high school. I've been here almost for 10 months already, and I still have 2 weeks left. At first I wanted to go abroad for a very, very long time already. Like since I was in the 6th grade, I wanted to go somewhere, like being an exchange student. But first it was like America, because I only knew there was America. But then I read about other possibilities like China, and then it never left me really, because it always stayed behind my head, like in my hand. And after a while I thought, yeah, why not? And I told my parents, and then everything got moving. I started to learn Chinese because I wanted to come to China, so that I had maybe some advantage, because it's quite difficult to get to know a different culture, and when you don't know anything about the language, it's much harder. It was like HSK 2, but more at the beginning. Like I could do the exam, but it wouldn't be so easy for me. And now I did HSK 3 last week, and it was pretty easy, and I could do HSK 4 if I would like to. But it's also a bit difficult, but it would be possible. Your listening comprehension, when you talk with other people, you also learn the Putonghua, the Mandarin, and the daily language. You don't only learn in the HSK, because some vocabulary, which is pretty useful, you don't learn during classes. I live with a host family in Dongcheng district. It's pretty near of the center of China and Beijing. And yeah, it's also pretty near to the Tiantangongyuan, the big park of the Temple of Heaven. And my family, I have a host mom, host dad, and 2 host siblings. They're twins, and both 9 years old. And I share my room with my host sister. And they're pretty sweet, because I really, we get along with each other pretty well. We do nice activities, and I'm not only a guest, I'm also like a family member, and I'm grateful for that. On Mondays, when I come home, we sometimes have calligraphy classes. So actually my host siblings had calligraphy classes, but after a while they also asked me if I want to participate with them. And sometimes I come home earlier than them, because they have some other activities like pipa classes. It's a traditional Chinese instrument, or English or math classes. They have a lot of school. So I'm pretty glad I don't have to go to school in the evening. Yeah.
Okay.
But on Fridays we do more with the family. Sometimes we go to the cinema or do something else. And the same goes with Saturdays. Saturdays when we don't have classes, because we normally have classes on Saturdays, so we sometimes go jogging before these classes. Wake up very early in the morning and go jogging, or in the evening we also go out to eat some food or do other activities. And Sunday is more free, so we have more time to do something together. It's really good. I think I'm gonna miss them, because they're very, they're very vivid, and they tell me a lot of stories about the school, and they always want to show me some things, and they always fight who can tell me the story, because the other one wants to tell me about it. So they also speak English. Yeah, it's not bad for their age. The English is sometimes even better than some of my classmates' English. Yeah, So, like the grandma, when she sometimes comes to our home, she always laughs at us because they talk English to me and I answer in Chinese. Oh, it's amazing. I really love Chinese food, especially when the grandma comes. She makes like a very long noodle. I think it's ramen, and it looks amazing when she makes it. It's like pulling the noodle longer and longer and longer, and then it's only like so much of the dough, but you have so many portions of one noodle. And this is so delicious. And also other things, like sometimes when you come to China, you have to live with the fact that you don't know what you're going to eat now. Because, like, other names, your host family doesn't know how to translate, you don't know what it means in Chinese because it's so different. And once I happened like to read, I read the story of my host mom because she always publishes her daily life a bit like on WeChat, you can see, and she like, yeah, we ate purple bullfrog, and I like, what is purple bullfrog? Okay. I'm also a bit lucky because I actually eat almost everything, and like my host mom is also very happy about this because now she has someone who can eat spicy food with her. Because before no one wanted to eat spicy food with her, but now she can also eat spicy food because I eat spicy food too.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes we have sandwiches, or sometimes sweet potato, or now we have soy milk and milk with like porridge, kind of porridge.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky with my family because you like to spend some time with the family, you like to communicate with them, to chat with them, and I think it's the best way to learn Chinese, just to communicating with people, because when you don't know a word, you can just ask them what this word means and they can tell you, and this is kind of a fun way to learn Chinese because you have fun talking with them and spending time with them, and also you improve your Chinese levels. Okay, so I go to the Beijing High School. It's in the Fengtai district in the southwest of China, Beijing.
It'd be a long journey if it was the southwest of China.
Yeah. I always mess these things up. So it's like I take the subway, and it takes about 40 minutes to take the subway, and then 10 minutes walking to school. So at the beginning it was different, but you get used to this. Life in the school, yeah. Like every day we start school at 7:30. Sometimes if you have to clean the classroom, you also have to be a bit earlier. So you clean the classroom, and then we have like something like self-study for about half an hour before real class begins. Then at 8 o'clock we start to have real class like English, Chinese, economy, physics, all kinds of stuff. Until, it depends whether it's winter or summer. Like in the summer, after 2 periods of class, we go out to do some exercises. In the winter after 3 periods because it's a bit warmer, or in the summer a bit cooler. And except of Mondays, because Mondays we have something like flag hissing. So the whole school gets out on the playground, and then we sing the national hymn, and the flag gets hissed, and some students are marching in front of us, and then they talk about some special things like how you should behave, what great things China did, and such things. I think it's tougher because you don't know the language than it would be maybe in English, or because you really don't know the language, so you don't want to bother them at the beginning because of your poor skills. So at the beginning you maybe make some friends, but they're still not really friends because you don't intensify your relationship. Because also of the language barriers. But after a while you get more used to Chinese, they get more used to English, and everything works out. It's not that you totally don't have any connection, but it takes some time to really find someone, so you have to really be active. Okay, so we have Chinese and English classes, but mostly the classes, although they have English exams, are taught in Chinese because the teacher is more comfortable with Chinese, the students are more comfortable in Chinese. And I think it's also okay this way because they need to understand something. And yeah, at the beginning it was a bit hard to understand, and it's still hard because it's more specific vocabulary, not only normal vocabulary that you use. So it's more difficult to follow the teachers, and I still quite don't follow, like for example, my physics teacher or my chemistry teacher because I don't know the names of the elements or something like that. Yeah, but actually it's fine. Only sometimes even the English teacher, like we have one English teacher who also only uses Chinese, which isn't that good for the Chinese students, but the rest is okay. Mostly inside because we have school like until 5:10, and they sometimes have from 6:30 to 9 also some classes, so it's pretty difficult to find some time to meet. But sometimes we also have like time, so we can we go out to eat something, celebrate birthdays or something like this. A good thing is that we have like almost 2 hour long lunch break, so you get enough time to get to know the students better, to make some friends. Yeah, I think it's enough. Like especially I went to Beijing before, like for a trip, just to get to know China better, and if I really want to come to China. And so I had the part on this. But also, if I would like to, I also could do a lot of sightseeing, but I don't do much of it because I already did it. But also we went with our host family like to the Great Wall one day, like in autumn. Yeah, but mostly we do other activities than sightseeing during our free time. I think it's quite useful because it's like an additional aid for you, because you learn new characters, especially the characters, like how you read them. So you just get some help on learning additional Chinese, because you also learn without these classes, but this one also helps you with some issues. When you have some questions, you can ask the teacher once a week for 2 hours. Individual, because I'm only here once a week, so there aren't any group classes. The best advice is that you always should be like actively go to other people, talk to them, be active with your host family. Like don't, even though you maybe want to be alone, just go actively and talk to them, because it accelerates the process of getting to know each other and to feel home in Beijing, because it's really a totally different culture. Maybe in some parts it's also the same, but it's still different than home. Yeah, it also took me like 2 months to really feel like home here. So it's not that you didn't feel well here, because I always felt well, but it always like new, and after 2 months I felt like, yeah, I really arrived here and I'm home. Mostly it's like a whole journey where you develop yourself, you get to know yourself better, you lose maybe some anxiety about meeting new people, you are more self-confident, because you had to build up a new life, a totally new life. You are not scared about other things, because you know I already did it in a totally different country with totally different culture. I started from zero and I did find some friends, had a great time here. So I think in the future I won't be so scared about new things.
Yeah. Would you recommend other students your age or any student come to China have this experience?
Yeah, I would recommend it. Especially, I think China, even though it's more harder and everyone has to think if it would suit himself, but I think you would learn more about from yourself when you go to a totally different country than your own country, than when you go to a country that is more similar to your own culture. So if you feel like ready to do this and you think you'll be fine, I would recommend